Okay, then moving on to the next presentation. This is coming from JA Solar. We have Ignacio Espinosa, who is a senior technical manager at JA Solar. He's going to talk about the maximizing sustainability and efficiency, the future of floating systems and agri-PV.
Hello,
Ignacio.
hello all. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and present our solutions for. I will focus today on floating systems and agri-PV. I will share my screen now. Okay, I think it's already live. So yes, as I was saying, I will focus my presentation on the PV models that JA Solar is dedicating to floating systems, and I will make some explanations on that. Okay, so the content of the presentation, I will go really briefly on JA Solar, and later we will go directly to the point, to the innovative PV applications. So I think it works to talk about the brand which is behind the PV modules, right? Because it's well, as we all know, no, it's not easy to make the choice about the models to be used in our projects, and I believe that this fact it's helping to make the decision. JA Solar is a long-term player in the industry. We started making cells, which is the core part of the technology. We are for more than 18 years in the market. It's a company which is, for example, with big achievements like last year, we were #1 in Europe in terms of shipments. And I would say that in terms of the technology, the main point would be like the knowledge that we have collected in all of our history, because we have shipped more than 140 gigawatts in our history. And of course, as all we can understand, it's a lot of information that we are applying and using in our research and development to make all the improvements to make this technology more reliable and more efficient. No? Our presence in the world is we are present in more than 135 countries, and yeah, well, maybe today I would like to remark our presence in Europe that we will see in the next slide. So talking about our technology, one of our key features is that we are vertically integrated. Okay. As you can see here, we participate in the production from the very beginning. As I said, we were manufacturing cells in the beginning, and now we are specialized in cells and modules. Probably we are one of the players which are more balanced in terms of the capacity in the whole supply chain. As you can see, this year we will close the year with 85 gigawatts of capacity for ingots, wafers, and cells, and 95 for the modules. So some of us are specialized on modules, others are specialized on cells. From our side, we are really balanced, no, in terms of controlling the whole supply chain. We see, which is kind of interesting because we are controlling the product quality and the cost, and also for sure the technology, right? Which is a key point in terms of being always in front of the technology and presenting to the world the latest technology for the PV industry. About our presence in Europe, well, we have like one key point for us, which is the reliability. Okay, I will insist on this concept today in the webinar because it's also really important for this innovative application, no, for the floating systems and the agri-PV. The reliability of the modules, it's essential. No, we are talking about not extreme, but difficult environments for the modules. So it's part of our development always to be on top of the reliability. And this reliability concept, we extend it also to the service, which is the other important part, right? We have a long presence in Europe. We are present in all geographies in Europe with an experienced and dedicated team, which is there to support all the needs of the market and helping all the players in the industry to reach the success. One thing remarkable here about the product capability, it's how the quality of this technology, I have to say, and mainly because, or mainly in our modules, it's the the low failure rate that the PV modules have, no? This is essential because, again, in this innovative application, we are talking about systems that we are willing to do an initial investment on them, but later it's really relevant for the profitability and the sustainability of these systems to do not have higher OPEX cost. Okay, so the operance and maintenance cost it's related with the failure rate, and they are really low in this technology. So let's go to the point directly. I wrote here some of the main advantages of these two types of systems. I think that we have heard today with other colleagues the benefits. I will not stop to large, but for the floating system, just to remark that we are not using lands, the proximity to the consumption. Some interesting point is the iteration with other power plants, like for example, using PV plants floating in lakes to help the hydropower to pump the water to a higher level during the moments of no consumption from the grid. So let's say the synergies between a hydro power plant and a PV module floating systems are really, really interesting and making what we are all looking for, right? To make a system really efficiency up to the 100%, right? There are challenges as well. As I mentioned, the environment for the modules over the water, it's, well, any kind of element over the water, it's in a hard environment for it, but as the modules, they have metallic components, we need to pay attention on that. And later I will see how we are sorting out these problems. And for the Agri-PV, again, the environment could be also because of the chemicals that we could be using in our crops. This is also a challenge for the modules. And we need to put attention into the materials that we are using into our modules, because they will be installed in the fields and over the crops that afterwards, well, they are biological. So we need to also pay attention there. One thing also to add on these two types of innovative applications, it's that they have a lot of types, right? It's like we cannot classify them in a couple of types. And this is interesting. And this is also leading us to do not have a unique dedicated product for this kind of applications, okay? For the floating systems, we can see this kind of systems in reservoirs or lakes, and we have also seen these kind of installations over the sea, okay, in a really extreme environment. So let's say in this case they are more similar, but they are not exactly the same, okay? The challenges here are so similar, but as said, different types, no, for these floating systems. It's more, it's bigger, the difference between the types on the Agri-PV. We are seeing how different regulations in Europe are classifying these Agri-PV uses in different types. Like, for example, these pictures that we are showing here, we can see a category with a dual use of land with the panels over the crops in this case, in parallel to the crops in the category number 2. And there is another category with the panels in a vertical position, no? So we may find different characteristics for these modules depending on the use, no? It is like opening a big choice, and it's also opening let's say, like the development of the systems of the modules in this case. It's making the puzzle bigger. So looking at these PV module requirements, looking at the challenges also that we are facing on these installations, which would be the most suitable module, no? We can see how the floating systems, we need to pay attention to the salt mist environment, high corrosion environment. Again, the concept of the reliability, it's essential, okay? It's linked with the salt and with the environment somehow. We will need also to pay attention on the hazardous material, which is also relevant. And a big point here for both type of systems, which is the bifacial behavior of the modules. Obviously, we are not considering to use other type of systems, which nowadays it's like the mainstream for traditional PV systems, like bifacial modules. Obviously, we are considering to use bifacial modules also in these innovative systems, applications, because not only because of the benefits of the energy, which would be like the trigger decision, but also because of the reliability that this kind of encapsulations with double glass it's giving to the modules, no? On the Agri-PV, we will need to pay attention on the chemical, ammonia resistance. Those point about the materials included in the modules, it's also relevant, like the lead-free. It's something that it's under discussion for several regulations in Europe. Also, the transparency that the modules are able to give in case of these categories where the modules are located over the crops. So how we are sorting out all these kind of challenges, no? How JA Solar is putting on the market solutions for these applications. Well, for the floating systems, of course, all of our modules, not only the ones dedicated to the floating systems, are in possession of the IC, which is regulating how the modules should pass several tests, which is proving the salt mist resistance of the modules. We are also using a special BOM that later I will explain for these modules, and the concept of the reliability, which is also remarkable. We are in all of our modules passing the 3 times IC test, which is the most exigent test in the PV modules nowadays. Also the PVL, which is a reliability test where our modules are present. So with this test, we are trying to prove this concept, no, the reliability and these hard environments for the modules. Also, the REACH certificate, which is regulated, this is it's mandatory for the European Chemical Agency, and it's to control that the modules are not containing hazardous material. We are in possession, JA Solar is in possession for our modules of this REACH certificate. And of course, well, the warranties, which is behind the technology and which is behind resisting the time for the modules, no? In this case, a brand like JA Solar, it's ensuring that the success is for a long time, no? Long time present in the industry. For the floating system, just to remark as well that we have several interesting and big references, okay? So we will see it later, but of course, if our modules, our standard modules in such case, no, with special BOMs are already in use for floating systems, we are demonstrating that they are able and feasible to be used in these innovative systems. Despite of, we are keep on investigating on new solutions and advantages for the standard modules to be adapted for the floating systems. On the Agri-PV, the ammonia IC, which is also under possession for all of our modules, and all the same concepts for the reliability. And let me remark this REACH certificate, which is ensuring that there are no hazardous material according to this regulation included in our modules. So let's go to see which would be the products to be used for these innovative applications. And here we are presenting candidates for different sizes, okay? You can see how the size is like growing. The smallest one, as I was saying, no, which would be like the most suitable? It is depending on the type of installation and the type of project that you will be facing, no? If the project is small and there are some kind of constrictions in terms of the size, obviously a smaller product would be more suitable. It's allowing you to play with the shape of the plant and so on, no? So our 54D40 module based on the N-type technology, TOPCon, okay, it's able to reach nowadays 445 watts, okay? And it's that dimension that, well, other colleagues have mentioned, no, that thankful, we are all reaching like a standardization of the sizes. And this 54 candidate, which is a glass module, bifacial module, it's having a really interesting and compact size. And in the meantime, it's outputting an interesting power, right? With an efficiency higher of 22%. With a bigger site, let's say, there is a balanced module, this 72D30LB. This product is based, or we are using rectangular cell, okay? So with the N10 cells that JA Solar was using, the market have understand that the width of the N10 modules made by 6 columns of cells, it's the perfect one, the 1134 millimeter of width. And here we are extending the dimension of the cell in the length. So we are able to reach 565 watts with an efficiency higher than 21 in a really balanced product, okay? And still using the PERC technology, which is a really well-known technology. We should not forget yet, we all know that we are entering into the TOPCon area, and later I will explain more about the TOPCon models from JA Solar, but the PERC technology will still be available with interesting conditions. And in my point of view, technically speaking, the background of this technology, like the experience that we all have on this technology, it's also a big point for it. But definitely the new players are based on TOPCon, and they are the 66D45, which is reaching 605 nowadays. Soon it will be 610 by the end of the year, with an efficiency of 22.4 and a standardized dimension of 2.382, with the width of the N10 cells. Well, all the benefits of this with 720 pieces per container, and really, really interesting. And we believe it will be the mainstream product for the ground mounting systems. And floating, it's absolutely capable of absorb this kind of product, because it is having all the benefits of having a high power in the model, no? And the highest power module that we are offering is 620. It is having the dimension of the old 78 cells, but now it's, as we are going to the rectangular cells, it's 72. So we can build strings of the same length of the old, or the same string length that we can be reaching with the 72D30. With this new dimension and with this new power output, that of course it would be absolutely suitable with floating or agri-PV systems, and well, also ground mounting systems like 1P tracker. It's the perfect solution on those regards, right? So looking at the powers, just a brief look into the power plates. You can see how we are splitting. There is another player that I did not mention, because it's a product based on 66 cells D42, also rectangular cell, reaching 580 watts. It's also interesting, okay? And I'm just including here because it's also balanced, and if we need an option similar to the old dimensions of the D30s, the PERC modules that we have been using in the last 4 or 5 years, this is having exactly the same dimensions, this product, but based on the TOPCon technology. So it is also an interesting option for our projects. No? Talking about the technology, which is relevant for these innovative applications, well, we are using a special TOPCon technology, which is bifacial tech, okay, developed by JA Solar. The higher power density is that we are approaching the cell, and this is also interesting because the trend of the traditional PV modules, it's going to reduce the space between the cells. This is to obtain a larger power density. And today we are talking about agri-PV over the crops, where the transparency is also relevant. So in this case, there is a split in the type of the products, and we would need to develop a new product which would be against the natural trend of higher, more efficiency for the cells, but obviously some benefits for the agri-PV, no? I was mentioned that we are nowadays using rectangular cells of different dimensions to optimize the number of cells inside the modules and reach more power output. This is the main goal of this. The lower degradation is linked with the technology. We will see it later in a chart of the warranty, but basically we have 1% of degradation for the first year and 0.4 for the rest of the years of the warranty, up to 30 years. And performance relevant factors here, I would like to mention the temperature coefficient of the TOPCon technology, the Deep Blue 4.0 Pro, which is 0.3, and it is really interesting for the south of Europe mainly, and other regions, where the temperature is really high, and the efficiency and the performance of these models under high temperature conditions, it's much more better than the PERC technology. In terms of the bifacial factors, we are reaching 80% of bifaciality factors. There is a better low light performance. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. You have 1 more minute to wrap up. Please.
Okay. So 80% of bifacial factor and a better low light performance, which is also interesting for this kind of applications. I will go then to explain the special BON that we are considering for the floating systems, which is double glass modules and a special treatment on the glass, considerations for the encapsulant, and corrosion treatment on the frame. So this is like crucial to ensure the reliability and the aging of the modules in this hard environment for the floating systems. For the Agri-PV, of course, using double glass and hazardous substance analysis on this regard. I also mentioned about the warranties. Let me show you here how we are testing our reliability in our modules with the hardest test that you may find in the industry. The standard of the IEC is setting 5% for this degradation, and we are much below this power. No, this is like the proof of the reliability of the JA Solar models. I'll finish with these references on the floating systems, which are really relevant, as I mentioned. No, we are already part of these innovative application systems. We are developing day by day in our research and development, but you can see references in Malaysia of 10 megawatts plant in 2020. Okay, in Israel, almost 11 megawatts made by our PERC bifacial 72 modules last year. And we have also a testing location in Spain where we are testing also monofacial modules, which is the behavior of the monofacial and the bifacial modules with a capacity of 1 megawatt. And just the last point is would be the future, just to mention that we will have heterojaction by the end of the year, and probably this is one of the main points to be used in these innovative applications in the short term. So sorry to use more than my time. It's my mistake.
That's fine.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's really interesting that you were also very much focused in heterojunction. I'm sorry, actually, I would love to ask so many questions, but we don't have time. So it would be really great if you can stay and answer the questions in the chat window, at least from our participants.
I'll do so. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the presentation.